A woman awakens alone inside a sprawling stone labyrinth with nothing but a sinister countdown watch and a cryptic note that promises deadly consequences if she fails to escape. Racing against vanishing hours, she confronts mind-bending puzzles, psychological trials, and unseen spectators who seem to relish her terror. I come to in darkness, sprawled on biting cold stone that smells of iron and mildew. A migraine pounds in rhythm with my heartbeat, and when I lift my head, grit rasps between my cheek and the floor. Something's on my wrist. Tiny green digits flare to life in the gloom. 11:38 a.m., 11:37:59 a.m., a countdown. Panic slashes the fog from my thoughts. My trembling fingers probe the device. A matte black watch fused to my skin with translucent resin. I scratch at it and hiss. The resin is still tacky, as though it was smeared on moments ago. A single cone of light shines overhead, revealing moss-slick walls that stretch upward far beyond its reach. I'm inside a corridor, narrow, crooked, the ceiling lost in blackness. On the floor beside me lies a folded card, sealed with red wax. The note, I rip it open. Welcome, Participant 12. You have been fitted with micro-explosives at the base of your skull. They will detonate automatically if the timer expires. Each failed trial subtracts 20 minutes. Solve the labyrinth to earn your life. Sovereign Circle. My throat constricts around a scream that never makes it past my lips. Instead, I stagger upright, sticky-skinned and barefoot, the watch's digits winking. 11:37 a.m. The passage corkscrews into a circular chamber lit by 4 dull bulbs. The door seals shut behind me with a hydraulic hiss, and a mechanized voice crackles from unseen speakers. Say the phrase that has never been spoken. On the far wall, a steel door bears a keypad. I glance at the countdown, 11:35:48, and my pulse thunders. A phrase that has never been spoken. It's impossible. Every conceivable string of words might have been uttered somewhere. But maybe they mean here, within these walls. I try nonsense. Blistering moonfish waltz. Nothing. Idea. Combine random syllables. Dacra volum kest. A green light flashes. The steel door slides open. I exhale a sob, then notice red LEDs pulsing on the timer. 11:15:48. They silently remove 20 minutes for my first attempt. I passed, but the penalty still came. A claustrophobic hallway ends at a marble pedestal. Resting atop it, a brass balance scale and a box of irregular stones, each etched with numerals. Another inscription. The exit weighs truth against memory. Place what you owe. A slot beneath the scale's left pan gapes like a hungry mouth. On the wall, 9 brass plates listing sins, lies, envy, betrayal, and so on, each followed by a weight value. My mind reels. How much do my lies weigh? Which memories matter? The timer gnaws downward. 10:59:37, 36:35. I choose lies, 2 units. I place the stone labeled 2 onto the right pan, truth, and drop an unmarked pebble into the left, memory. Nothing. I add envy, 3 units, balancing another pebble. The scale remains stubbornly crooked. Sweat trickles down my spine. I slam my palms onto the pedestal. Think, the hint, what you owe. Not sins in general, my personal transgressions. I close my eyes, dredging up a betrayal I swore never to voice. The moment I exposed my sister's secret to save my own skin, a 7-year wound. I grab the stone-etched 7. Hands shaking, I set it on the pan. The scale glows green. Gears spin. A hidden door clicks open. But the timer flashes scarlet. 10:19:37. Another 20 minutes gone. The new corridor slopes downward until the air grows chilled and wet. I emerge into a cavernous gallery ringed with mirrors, each polished obsidian. My reflection multiplies. hundreds of me, hollow-eyed and terrified. In the center stands a stone lectern, cradling an hourglass filled not with sand but black liquid. Above it, words are carved. Speak your greatest fear while the glass runs black. Falter, and you inherit silence. A thin band of light triggers the hourglass to invert. The oily fluid plunges from top to bottom in slender threads. 9:58:12 on the watch. My mouth dries. My pulse roars in my ears. What is my greatest fear? The mirrors seem to lean inward, distorting my face. Dying, failing, being forgotten. No, being watched, being judged. I fear that unseen eyes decide my worth. I shout, voice cracking. Silence. The last drop of black fluid plinks into the lower globe. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then the mirrors flicker and words bloom across the glass. Truth accepted. A panel slides open. Relief crashes through me. But so does dread, because the watch now reads 9:38:12. They're shaving 20 minutes even on success. Every trial bleeds me. Bookcases spiral upward like rib cages, crammed with dust-choked tomes. Mechanical arms click overhead, rearranging volumes. At the center, a brass door locked by interlocking cogs. Inscribed instructions. As pages turn, so too do hours. Align the story that ends before it begins. A table holds 3 open books. The Queen's Dying Sunrise, last page numbered 428. Midnight Revolutions, last page 312. Origin of Twilight, last page 503. Each book has movable numeric dials beneath, currently at 000. I scan their prefaces. Each mentions a prophecy fulfilled earlier than foretold. Ends before it begins. Maybe set the dial to a page number that doesn't exist within the book. 0? I rotate all 3 dials to 999. Gears grind. The door remains shut. The timer leaps to 8:58:12. Snarling, I twist the dials to negative numbers. Impossible. They stop at 000 again. Think of time flowing backward. The door's cogs each bear Roman numerals 1 to 12, like a clock. A story that ends before it begins could be told in reverse, page counts descending. The total pages combined, 428 plus 312 plus 503 equals 1,243. I set the first dial to 428, second to 312, and third to 503,312, third to 503. Exact totals. Still nothing. My gaze catches a marginal note in Midnight Revolutions. Revolution, 1 full turn. Cogs, clocks, revolutions, 360. I grab the dials again, set all 3 books to 360. Loud clunks echo. The brass door swings open. 8:38:12. I stumble into a chamber wreathed in crimson light. A turnstile blocks the exit, topped with a biometric sensor. Next to it, a plaque. Sacrifice your measure. Payment in full to proceed. On the floor, a scalpel, bandages, and a glass vial labeled minimum 5 milliliters. My skin crawls. I clutch the scalpel, slice my fingertip. Too shallow. I grit my teeth, drag the blade across my forearm. Blood wells. I squeeze 5 milliliters into the vial. The sensor drinks it in. The gate unlocks. The room spins. 8 hours, 18 minutes, and 12 seconds left. Corridors multiply. Forks regress into loops. Dead ends reshape behind me. I mark walls with bloodied fingerprints only to find the marks erased on my next pass. My vision blurs. Dizziness bites. Then, an electric buzz. The watch face flickers and projects a holographic map. A sprawling network of corridors, a pulsing dot marking my position, and a bright star at the far edge. The exit. No instructions accompany the sudden gift. Why now? Part of the game. or pity from an unseen spectator. I force my legs to move. A circular chamber. The floor is a giant chessboard. Pieces carved of gleaming obsidian and ivory stand in mid-game. On the wall blinks a message. Made in 3. Fail. And time submits. The position is alien. Irregular board size, extra pieces. Yet patterns emerge. My side, ivory, can deliver checkmate if I see through the chaos. I drag a rook to capture a shadowy knight. The board flashes red. 7:58:12. 7:38:12. Another 20-minute bite. Heart hammering, I recall an old puzzle. Interlocking sacrifices. Move 2. Bishop to hidden square. Move 3. Queen slides along a non-Euclidean file, cornering the enemy king beneath impossible geometry. The board glows green. A panel opens. A narrow shaft with spiral stairs spiraling down to an inky pit. Words on the wall. Lower what you love. Raise what you fear. A winch holds a small platform suspended over darkness. I must place 2 objects. One precious, one dreadful, pockets empty. What do I have left besides blood and terror? The note? The watch? My fear. I tear the note from my pocket, proof of my impending death. Love? I think of my sister, our childhood locket kept at home. I have nothing of hers. My heartbeat drums. What you love? Maybe intangible. I exhale, fogging the air, and whisper her name onto the platform. Iris. Then I speak my fear. Being invisible. Cold wind whirls. The platform descends. The stairs rise, becoming a ramp that launches me through a hatch above. 7:18:12. Somehow the penalty didn't trigger. The holographic map reappears, dot racing toward the star. Corridors widen into a stone-lined chute. I sprint despite vertigo, ignoring the sticky warmth of blood on my arm. 6:42, 5:10. The seconds melt as I run, turning corners, leaping cracks, slamming through rust-hinged doors. My lungs burn. The countdown drains. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 0:40 minutes, 0:10 minutes. I burst into a vast atrium open to moonlit sky. A yawning archway stands 50 yards ahead. Beyond it, a forest sways in night breeze. Freedom. But the atrium floor is a grid of pressure plates painted crimson. Overhead screens flicker on, revealing rows of masks, gilded, jeweled, obscuring faces seated in velvet darkness. Applause crackles through hidden speakers. "One final game," a distorted voice intones. "Step only on prime numbers." The grid squares, bare integers. My math-numbed brain claws for reason. Nearest primes, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. 00947. I hop to 2, a chime. To Treshy chime, next is 5, diagonal. I lunge. The plate wobbles but holds. Applause swells. 00812. Sweat stings my eyes. I race across primes. 17, 19, 23. Counting steps. Feeling time peel away. I misjudge. Land on 24 by mistake. Sirens blare. The display subtracts 002000. 00612. I scream, backpedal to 29, 31, 37. The exit looms. I leap from 43 to the final plate, 47, and dive through the archway, rolling onto damp earth. I sprawl beneath open sky, chest heaving. The watch blares, 00037, 36, 35. I claw at the resin, desperate to tear it free, to distance myself from the blast. It won't budge. I brace for obliteration. 000, nothing. Silence, except frogs croaking in the woods. Then a soft chirrup. The watch display morphs into a single word. Bravo. Floodlights ignite, washing the forest in sterile white. SUVs crunch along a gravel path. Black-suited figures emerge, not with weapons but champagne flutes. The masked audience steps from the trees, faces still hidden behind elaborate visages, porcelain lions, golden serpents, crystal owls. A woman in a silver fox mask approaches, clapping slowly. "Exquisite performance," she purrs. "The odds favoured a fatal mistake, yet you prevailed." "Explosives," I rasp. "Where?" She laughs, melodic. "Oh, darling, there were no explosives. We'd never risk damaging such talent. Fear is so much cleaner than shrapnel." Rage surges. I hurl the watch at her feet. "You tortured me for a show." "And raised over $42 million in wagers, a philanthropic evening for us all." She gestures, and attendants roll forward a leather-bound suitcase. "Your prize, 10% of the pot. You're free to leave, of course. Or," her voice drips honey, "stay and compete again. Next game's purse doubles." I stare at the suitcase, then at the labyrinth's looming walls gilded by floodlight. My knees shake, not from fatigue, but from the tremor of decision. "What happens if I refuse?" She tilts her head. "You walk away with trauma and 10%, but refuse publicly and we rescind all offers. People vanish every day, dear. You know how the world works now." My vision tunnels. The night air tastes of moss and menace. Behind her, the audience dons fresh masks. The labyrinth doors reset with a thunderous boom. I clasp the suitcase handle, hating how my fingers tighten around it. The silver fox mask glints beneath moonlight. "Welcome back," she whispers. And as I'm escorted toward a velvet-draped pavilion, back toward the lights and wagers and hidden cameras, I realize the labyrinth never truly ends. It simply changes shape, and everywhere within it, unseen eyes decide my worth.